Quiz on AMC, BBC original, airing on AMC in the States, written by James Graham and directed by Stephen Frears.
Mm-hmm.
3 episodes telling the story about this man in the UK who him and his wife and family found a way to cheat on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he won $1 million. Pretty crazy story overall that I really wasn't aware of.
Nope.
The main character is played by Matthew McFadden, who's Tom on Succession on HBO, and then his wife is Sian Clifford, who's the older sister in Fleabag, Claire. You know, I have mixed feelings about this show. I think there were moments that I thought were really well done, and then some moments that I was left feeling a little bit confused in terms of what they wanted me to take away from what was happening. But overall, I think that the story and the way that they told it was really well done, and just overall like a solid show. How'd you feel about this miniseries?
Yeah. Oh, I just want to know too. It actually wasn't on BBC. It was on ITV/Channel 3, one of the British broadcast networks, which may have been the same network that broadcast Who Wants to Be a Millionaire back in the early 2000s. Not sure about that. It sounds familiar though. Yeah. So I also was not familiar with this story. I think its closeness to the 9/11 attacks probably immediately separates it from the purview of the understanding of most Americans, I'd imagine, at least in the way we learn things. But yeah, it's only a 3-part series. Already ran over in Europe, but 3-part series based on the play too. Like, kind of weird that this actually became a short run play, but I like that it did not have any really fat in the storytelling at all. It's only 3 hours. Although I actually was curious, what this could have been if it was a little bit longer and we had actually more time with these characters and their motivations and stuff, because it moves at a pretty quick pace. We're really just moving through the plot. But I honestly did really enjoy it because I think McFadden and Clifford were really well cast. They're in general just welcome presences and coming off, I think, career highs, we could say, with Fleabag and Succession. So just seeing them just kind of be a couple is already a high floor, like, for a show. And it's just kind of cool seeing the story play out because I didn't know about it. So I guess in one sense, it's really just a dramatization of real events, real history in a certain sense. Like, I don't know if there's a whole lot of like anything left under the hood, I guess. Maybe more episodes could have gotten there, not sure. But for what it was, I did enjoy it, just kind of seeing it played out. And Michael Sheen also just a nice presence as Chris Tarrant, the host of the show.
I totally agree. I think the casting was really solid all around, especially McFadden and Clifford as a couple. They really make Charles Ingram out to be this like oaf, in a sense. And I'm left a little bit unsure about that, because in reading further about him, several years after this happened, he was discharged from the army for committing fraud.
Right, insurance fraud of some kind.
Yeah. So it seems like he may not be as innocent as they make him out to be, or maybe he really is just that much of a puppet in all of these things. I think I was left a little bit confused on what they were really trying to say about him.
Right, and I think that's what's interesting too, is the first 2 episodes are really like the build up to the deed. Then the second episode is really just it all playing out, and we're seeing like the minute. What was the name of the machine? The minutes too fast. The fingers. The machine you buzz in basically to get it in the chair.
Finger.
Yeah, like we see that getting built and practiced on, and we learn about the syndicate, which in real life was called the consortium. That was all that was basically real.
Crazy.
Not made up. Yeah. We learn all about that, right? And then in episode 3, the finale, the final episode, we learn that, wait, are we actually not supposed to believe this as it was told to us? This is not assumed as fact. And the lawyer they have gives a really convincing case in terms of like laying out the coughs and how it's all pretty circumstantial and certainly not beyond a reasonable doubt. And the way evidence was administered. And like, you're just like, wait a minute. I thought we were watching them and I'm supposed to root for them to get away with it. You actually want me to believe they didn't even do it at all. Or maybe, Ingram's wife was just doing it with her
Right.
brother and not, like that kind of threw me for a loop. And maybe if we had more time with the story, you could have established that like demarcation in the couple. It felt
Yeah.
a little abrupt to me, but I still enjoyed it. Again, I think maybe because it was so tight, it's still pretty easy to enjoy.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. No, definitely. It's an easy show to watch. It's a really compelling story, and the acting is great. And I actually just wanted to shout out Tristan Gravel, who plays Adrian Pollock, who's Diana Ingram's brother.
mhm.
Kind of is like the person that kicks all this off,
Yeah, he sucks.
Just
By the way,
real scumbag. He's bottom three with Sandy and the other kid that we hated this year from Jamie from
yes,
Normal People.
normal people.
Fuck those guys. Yeah,
Not Rushmore of poor television characters in 2020.
an aspect of this I really liked was them showing the conception of Who Wants to Be a
Yeah,
Millionaire.
that was sick.
I found that very compelling, and I thought it was really cool how they even like had the guy like betting it like his own money, quote unquote, to like pitch the concept to him, and how that actually became really intense. Just really cool how they got all that.
Got 20 quid. I'm throwing up 120. Whatever.
And then when they first put the show on the air and how like the first person that it really became intense with, I thought that was really cool. So also, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Just a great game show. Do you remember watching it when it first came out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, with Regis Philbin, I believe, for
Absolutely.
us. So it didn't just come back in like a different form with Jimmy Kimmel and like celebrities,
Yes.
which kind of negates the whole tension for me because celebrities don't need the money. But I guess that kind of speaks to how game shows work, is most of them have an inherent shelf life to the interest of the watching public.
Just to note that they do give all the money they win to charity.
Okay.
They play for charities. It's weird because there's no audience. So instead of like a 50-50, now they have a Ask Jimmy Kimmel, or if they keep it to a certain point, they get a lifeline back. They can use it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that there's. I mean, I guess Jeopardy is like it still is a trivia game, right? But you think like trivia, like bar trivia, is a pretty big institution, I'd say, at this point in the Western world. So like, why aren't there more trivia based game shows? Right? Like, there's always like was it At Midnight, that Chris Hardwick one kind of came and went. Like, I feel like there's just not a lot of them. It's just really Jeopardy's the only one that sticks.
That's a good point.
You'd think there'd be another one by now, but there really isn't. Like Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, they're not really that. So
yeah, Jeopardy is just such an institution. I think they really drive at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire captures that intensity of like risking something, whereas I think it's hard to always get that back. But no, that's a good point. Something to think about. Any last thoughts on quiz before we wrap up?
Yeah, check it out. I think it's definitely been under remarked upon here. Again, it already had aired in Europe, and now it's just kind of airing alongside a lot of other more high profile shows here. So it's already done now. So I didn't see a whole lot of conversation about it, but I think people that do check it out will probably enjoy it.
Yeah. Also, my least favorite part was when they killed the dog. So was not a fan.
It was an accident, honey. It was an accident.